We are live, Rebecca. We are live. How are you this morning?
Sure. I am actually really good this morning.
Good.
Yeah.
Really
It is
good
kind
this
of an
morning.
early morning, but yeah.
Yeah? Got an exciting day before you?
Uh, yes, a little bit. I will be doing a presentation this morning, so a
Out of
little
your
bit of
comfort
excitement.
zone.
Out of my comfort zone. I enjoy it. It is out of my comfort zone, but I'm looking forward to it. I would like to start doing it a little bit more often, but I haven't pushed myself yet. See, it's one of the things that we're talking about this morning. So,
I'm anxious to hear the topic this morning and why you chose this topic because I think it's going to be a very, very important topic for a lot of people. So, why don't we just dive into it, Rebecca? Why this topic this morning?
so my take on this topic this morning was, we've been talking about changes and moving forward and things that we need to do. And I think sometimes when we start doing that or we head down that road, we get to a point and we hit a rut. We get a little stuck. Um, and sometimes it's just a little thing that's making us stuck and we don't realize it. But we really have to figure out how to get past that to move forward. And so, yeah, taking it might be preventing us from growing,
Hmm?
whatever it is.
The first thing that came to mind for me when you were writing this up and sending out the emails and things of that nature. You think about being stuck, you think about small steps. In fact, I put it on here: small steps, big growth. Um, One of the things that I've found to be very, very important in our everyday lives is the concept of prioritizing and making small steps is a good thing. We need to make some small steps. We need to move in the right direction to get unstuck, to move what we to go where we want to go. But the real important part, and this is what really got my attention, is the right steps, right? The prioritizing. And Rebecca, you can attest that I have not always prioritized, right? I I'll do things maybe that I want to do, but instead of things that I should be doing. And moving the right steps forward are game changing. And if you can take steps all day long, but if they're not the right steps that move you towards that vision that you have for your future, that big, hairy, audacious goal, if the steps don't move you in that direction one at a time, you're not going to get there. You absolutely will not get there. And no matter how much confidence you have, no matter how positive you are, you have to take the action in the right direction to get the traction towards your goals, your vision.
Well, and I think one of the big takeaways from all of that you just said was movement.
Mm-hmm.
You also have to have the movement. I mean, if you just stop moving, where are you going to go? Nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it's small steps, even if it's a little thing, as long as you're still moving is the key.
Yeah, in the right direction.
Yep, in the right direction.
Yeah, you're moving in the right direction, and that's the thing. When you look at, I think it was Steve Jobs. I think it was Steve Jobs that said, the overnight successes sure take a really long time, right? And everybody looked at Apple like, boom, here's this big overnight success. They come out of nowhere and they won really big. Well, that was a 20-year journey before people saw them and recognized them. The same is true with like Amazon and these other places. Nobody expected it to be like it is. It took a long time Took a long time to get those companies to where they are. You look at McDonald's, you look at all these companies that we see out here in the world today, and they're like, man, they've always been here, or, this is just the way things are. No, we live in a world where people, in fact, in the scripture, it says there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun as it pertains to the human being. Our psychology, our personalities, behaviors, the human being has always been exactly the same. In the world that we live in, though, the world around us is changing constantly. And as we look at us, the human being, and we look at all these different things, we need to challenge that thinking sometimes about what was required to get a company where they are, right? To get an organization, to get a church, to get a business, to get a school. They all started with the small steps. In fact, back up a little bit farther, they all started with an idea. I mean, it's crazy. Everything in the world is created out of an idea, turned to a plan, and put into action with a small step. So that's how it all starts every single time.
Okay, so I guess my question would be, so if you are stuck, what do you need to do to start taking those small steps? How do you need to get, or what are the things that you need to change to get back in step and moving forward?
Are you asking me?
I am asking you.
Okay.
It's your
Um,
coaching session today.
okay. The very first thing is revisit the vision. You have to revisit the vision. If you're stuck, revisit your vision. Think about where you're going, what it is that you so badly want and desire out of your life. You have to revisit the vision, because if you're stuck and you need to get out of it, you got to make sure you're moving in the right direction, because you're going to get something to pull you. You're going to get something to help you move forward, but you've got to start with the vision. And if you don't have a vision of where you're going with your life, you don't have a vision of how you're going to impact and change things, I will promise you, you're not going to impact and change things. It's not going to happen. You're going to hope and maybe wish that something would change in your world around you, but it's not going to happen. It definitely won't happen because of you. And that's part of the challenge. Step number 1, get to the vision. And once you have that vision, then go back to the why. Step number 2 is, why is that so important? Work on that purpose inside of you, that thing that makes you get up out of bed and want to go get something accomplished and go do something with your life. Visit the vision, expand on the purpose. Why are you doing this? And those two things right there create motivation. I mean, really, they do. But you have to dwell on it. You have to think about it. In the book Think and Grow Rich, it's that burning desire. And that's what it is. It's that burning desire. And you'll only get a burning desire by thinking about the vision, by thinking about that purpose, by taking time to sit and dwell on it and let it become that burning desire within you. If you don't have that, you're not going to move forward. And this is something that so many people don't understand. They're like, oh, I just got to do, 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 do. No, that doesn't move you in the direction of the vision, because you'll do all sorts of things that just get you going in circles. Just get you going in circles, like a dog chasing its tail. And then you wonder why I'm never getting anywhere. You have to have the vision and the purpose if you're going to get the outcomes you want. It
Well,
just
that's
can't be expressed enough.
that's going to be another one of our topics that we have on Monday Mindshift is, you know, how do you go after your purpose or chase your purpose without having a vision? because can't do it. So,
That's a great point. You can't. I mean, what are you going to be doing? I mean, if you've got a purpose, but you don't have a vision of where you're going with it, what? I mean, how do you know it's your purpose?
yeah,
Right? I mean, I hate to sound, sound poor on that, but it's like, man, if you feel like you've got a purpose but no vision on where you're going to take it, I guess that's like having a really awesome car and all the money in the world and have no idea where you're going.
yeah,
So
which, you know, that part is not always a bad thing because you can just drive. You always see something new. Anyway,
that's a totally another subject, isn't it? Probably
whole
not.
nother,
Probably not what you want to do with your life, though.
no, is to wander around aimlessly.
Wander around aimlessly should not be our goal. So, no,
No,
this is exciting, Rebecca, because this is a great subject. It really is, and the thing is, we as human beings, we're like, oh, we have to be there now. We live in this world where everything is like instant. I drive through McDonald's. I get my coffee in a drive-through. I don't even have to make coffee. I don't have to grind coffee beans. I just drive in, I pick it up, and I go. We live in such a world that we expect everything right now instead of putting our steps together to get where we need to go. And we see this in business all the time. We'll start working with a company and we'll start working with someone. They're like, oh man, this is so awesome. We got to change this. And we're going to be a completely different company in 12 months. Well, we sure hope that you're a completely different company in 12 months. But remember, it's taken you 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. You've created all these habits in the course of your business life, right? And we worked with one company. It's 40 years. 40 years they've been developing what got them to where they are. And in order to develop beyond that, to go beyond that, you got to change things, right? And it's little steps, because you're taking little steps in your past and what got you to where you are. But if you're going to go somewhere to where you want to go, a different direction, then guess what? You're going to have to take little steps in that direction. And those little steps will eventually get you further and further away from where you are so that you can see something new more than you see something in your current and present situation. And that's hard. It's really hard. Um, but it is very doable.
well, and we talk about being stuck, and if you get to a point that you get stuck, and how do you get through that? Sometimes we need to readjust. We need to just do a sidestep a little bit to go around it. And it's kind of we talk about the whole weight loss thing once in a while, and there's a lot of people that will hit a point of they just stop. They're still doing the same things, they're still exercising, they're eating right, and they just get to a point that the weight loss or whatever stops. And what it ends up being is you just need to change it a little bit, change up your exercise routine, change up. So the same thing with making small steps and big growth changes in your life. Sometimes we have to stop and look at it, readjust, reset to get through that rut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 That's another, a very, very good point, Rebecca. When you're pursuing your vision and you're pursuing it with your purpose and your passion, there are going to be days that you hit walls. There are going to be days when you have to take detours, and there are going to be barriers in front of you. And that's okay. It's absolutely okay. It's another small step, right? It's a small step around it, over it, under it, through it. You know, there's you have to be ready for those things. And it's not a negative. That's the other thing. You don't need to be upset about this. When you hit a barrier, when you hit something that slows you down, don't get all upset. Get excited about it. You're about to learn something new. You're about to travel a road you've never traveled before. You're about to do something you've never done before in order to get around that barrier, over it, under it, up, through it. Embrace it. Embrace it because you're already there. You've already hit the wall. Embrace it and see what you can do with it and see how fast you can maneuver with it. So many people get so frustrated. Like, I hit a barrier, I hit a brick wall, and then I'm done. Oh my goodness, look at this. See, it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe it is meant to be, but this is your growth. Okay. You quit, you're not growing. And that's a huge problem. And we should embrace those barriers. My take on it.
Well, and sometimes, we have to come to the realization those barriers could be just us,
Mm-hmm.
you know? It's
Yeah,
not because of anything else. It's just us because we've stopped doing something or we haven't pushed ourselves or
absolutely.
and that's hard to admit. That's hard to go to look at that and go, "Hey, I'm the reason that I've stopped. I'm the reason that that's hard to put that look at yourself and think that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're exactly right, Rebecca, because what do we feel when we look at that and say, I'm the reason? What's one of the first things we actually would default to? You're going to talk a little bit about it today.
I'm going to assume it's, it triggers your self-confidence and it triggers your
Your self
um
image.
yeah.
Your self image starts to feel, you start to feel like you're less than what you should be. You start to see yourself as something less than how you should see yourself, because you feel like, man, I hit this wall. I don't know how to do this. I feel inadequate. And when you buy into the lies like that, your self-image, your self-worth, your value, it's something you have to be aware of so that you can keep it up there. You can keep your self-image, your self-value, all these things up there, because that's what's going to allow you to get unstuck. Those are the things that are going to push you to take that next step. It's what's going to give you the strength to do those things. And that's part of the reason that we cannot allow our feelings to dictate. Our feelings, when our feelings take over, we'll always step backwards. We always will. And taking control of how we feel, recognizing how we feel, and move in the right directions for the right reasons, that's game changing. Absolutely game changing.
Yeah, feelings play especially for me. I'm, an emotional person and feelings play a big part in almost my day to day. And, sometimes you can probably see it on our weekly calls. But uh working on that, being aware of it and working on it, moving through it, small steps.
Yep. Yep.
But
Absolutely.
I'm looking for the big changes.
That's
So
right. That's right. That's right. Well, this is exciting, Rebecca. Does we have anybody from our Zoom audience that wants to join in? That was a small Zoom group. It's summertime. A lot of our people are in the ag world, and it has been hot. It has been excessively hot, and guess what? Everybody's really, really busy. But if anybody wants to jump in and share some things, we'd love to hear from you.
nope,
No,
they're awfully quiet this morning. That's okay.
they've been hot.
It's, today is supposed to be like a 30-degree difference than what it was
Oh
this
yeah,
weekend.
yeah,
So,
super. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Gonna be great. Well, Rebecca, so I wanna let's talk about your event today. You're doing a training today. You're stepping into a space where you're going to talk about DISC. You're going to talk about personality, behavior styles, and how it impacts business and things of that nature. And you're going to be really honed in on the human being that's running and growing businesses out here today. And I'm super excited for you, super proud of you. I mean, you're my wife, and I get to watch you walk through this journey. Um, you're taking what may feel like a really, really big step, but in the big part of life, this is just a small step and what's going to take you to where you really want to go. How are you feeling right now? How are you feeling? What's going on with Rebecca right now?
Uh, I am nervous. I always get nervous before I do any of these just because worrying about, am I saying the right things? Am I telling them the right things? But I know when I put the presentation together, when I put the material together, that it is the things that some of the things they've never heard before. So I know, but yeah, I get nervous. This is a big step for me. This is not just a little small one, but I've had to get through the small steps to get here. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to, hopefully doing this a little bit more. Um, but I prevent myself from pushing through that
Mm-hmm.
because there's too many times I get into my head about what I'm doing, and I can see my vision at the end of where I want to go, but if I want to get there, I have to work through the journey.
Yeah. Yeah. How important has it been for you to keep that vision in front of you as you've gone through this? Because I know this is something that you started a couple months ago, and you started down this journey to take on this project. How important was it to you really keep the vision, the visual in front of you?
Well, I had to keep the vision because if I didn't, I would have quit. I mean, I wouldn't have finished it. I had to understand why I'm doing it. I had to understand who I'm connecting with. Um, and if I didn't, it would have a totally different outcome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Yesterday we were talking a little bit about it as you were preparing through things, and we discussed the importance of being able to see the results and to see the outcomes. And I think that's important for people to understand also, with this topic that we're looking at here today is, whatever you have before you, whether it's in agriculture you're growing an amazing crop, or whether you're in manufacturing and you're building something new, or you're making updates, if you're in consulting and you're about to go on and take on a new big project, no matter what it is that you're doing, you need to be able to visualize the results. You need to be able to see the outcome at the end. You need to be able to see it so intensely that it almost feels like you already have it, like you've already achieved it, like it's already done for you. And what you'll get out of that is the the feelings that are quality for you, because we can't stop feelings from happening. So, by visualizing that result to the extent that you feel like you already have it, that's what actually equips you to move in the right direction. I've mentioned several times that taking a small step in the right direction makes all the sense in the world. And in order for that to happen, though, you have to know the outcome to the point where you can feel it. You know it's yours. It's there. And if you're going to be successful really with anything, visualizing that outcome. One of my early mentors, he called it hold the vision, or hold the image. And he said, create that image in your mind and hold on to it. Never let it go. Hold the image and everything else that you do will move you towards that image. And that's part of what you've got to be able to do in life to be successful in anything, regardless of what barriers you're facing.
Yep. Yep. And it's, there's sometimes we get a picture in our head and like you said, we want it today.
Yeah,
We want
yeah.
it, you know. I want to wake up tomorrow morning and be, but it takes time. I mean, it takes time. It takes determination. It takes um you have to have willpower because it's there's a lot of times I say it's hard work making these changes. But I don't want to make it sound negative because it's not a negative thing. And I know when I say it's hard work, sometimes it comes off as that, but taking these small steps, it's hard to change a habit. It's hard to um, push yourself, but the rewards and the the growth is great. It's worth it.
It's absolutely worth it. It's absolutely worth it because your life and time is going to fly by anyway.
Yep.
Why not be doing the things you really, really, really want? Why not be, as Jim Collins said, that big, hairy, audacious goal? Why not create a big, hairy, audacious goal for your life and pursue it? Your life's going to go by anyway. So do the right things with that image in your mind. Never lose sight of the image. The other thing is, Rebecca, that I've seen in this world is the reality of abundance. You know, just outside of the place that we're living now, there's trees. And as you walk through the trees and you realize there's just this massive amount of trees, but yet inside of that tree, inside of that tree grove, there's just massive abundance. Massive abundance. The grass still grows. People say grass won't grow where there's shade. Baloney. There's nothing but immense shade everywhere, and the grass is waist high, you know? And I see all this, and the animals are abundant. And I mean, it's just so amazing. And when you look out at the world and you look at opportunity, it's exactly the same way. Sometimes we can look at the trees, we look at the opportunity and go, oh man, everybody else is already doing it. Everybody else is doing this. There's no space for me. Baloney. There's all kinds of space for you. The world is so full of abundance and opportunity that you need to step in with a big vision and go pursue it. It absolutely is doable for you. And if you think that there's competition, forget it. Your competition was you yesterday. That's the biggest competitor you will ever face is yourself. So don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Go be the best you and go develop this vision in your mind and pursue it with every part of your being. It's not worth it to do anything less.
So as we get to the end of this morning, I guess my point to leave everyone with is if you're at a spot of growth and you're stuck, to stop, reassess, reevaluate, figure out what is making you stuck
Mm-hmm.
and figure out a plan to get around it and move forward.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
that would be my words of wisdom.
I'm proud of your words of wisdom.
Oh,
You've
thank
done
you.
you've done very well, Rebecca, and proud of your journey. So, all right.
Thank you.
Well, my friends, we do have a hard stop here at the top of the hour. So I do appreciate everybody jumping in and jumping onto this. Keep your eyes open. We've got some really, really cool things happening right now. The scaling up journey has been absolutely phenomenal. and really, really looking forward to bringing all of you some different outcomes there, and really, really looking forward to growing with all of you. But I'm just reminded almost every day with the coaches and the mentors that we have in our lives of how huge the opportunity is right now for you. And I'm just it just never ceases to amaze me, the opportunities that every one of us has before us.
Yep.
So just want to wish you an amazing, amazing week. Go at this week with a passion, a purpose, and a vision that you've never had before. Take the time to really develop it, and then ask God to lead you, take you through it. So, all right, my friends, that's what I have for you. Rebecca, thank you.
All right. You're welcome. See everybody next week. Have a great week.
All right,
Bye.
see y'all.